Hey, you there! I want to remind everybody that if you end up liking this video, please consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always change your mind. And right now, YouTube says that over 90% of people that watch my videos aren't subscribed, so it would really help, and with that... Hello everybody, I'm Joel Homie, your guys' host for another great episode of the Joel Homie Show series, Minecraft Monday, where today I'm going to be showing my top 5 ways to show that your builds are built with a modern and advanced design to have a clean and visually aesthetic sort of look to them, such as my mountain base behind me, or my mountain lab as it is now known. Rather than actually what I did a couple episodes ago, where I actually showed you guys how to actually show age and weathering in your builds, such as I've done in front of my mansion, of which I'm currently standing in. So let's go ahead and walk down to the usual area that I actually go ahead and do videos like this, where I show you guys how to do things right in front of my mountain lab. So the first thing that I'm going to do here is just quickly grab some shulker boxes that have the supplies that I'll need to do today's video. So we have some shulker boxes that I keep my end stuff in, my redstone stuff in, and then we have two that just keep general items that I'm used to building things such as my mountain lab currently. So the first one that I have listed down here is actually to use white blocks. And my reasoning for this is that using a white block or a bright block, as I will go over in my second reason, it gives a very clean and visually pleasing look, as you can see here, rather than using something like cobblestone and glass that is surrounded by something like grass and vines that looks generally older and doesn't look nearly as clean and advanced and modern as my mountain base does here. Like, as you can see, even the interior is very bright and has very bright colors all around, utilizing a lot of these brighter blocks such as quartz, dorite, iron doors, the pressure plates, and even some other things like from the 1.16 Nether update, and sea lanterns, which I will go over here in my second reason on how to show a modern and a sort of a advanced design. So my second reason here is very much similar to what I just said with white blocks, and what I meant by that obviously was using things like dorite and quartz. Those two blocks are very good to put together when you use them right, such as seen here, when you put all of them together to make a very sort of nice and clean and visually pleasing look. But the second reason is very much tied into this because, as you can see, with all of this dorite and quartz, I have meshed in a lot of iron doors, glass, as well as some blue blocks that are generally still bright, like sea lanterns. Now, I recommend using bright blocks with dorite and quartz. Because they mesh in very well. Like, you can see here the 1.16 vine here that has sort of like this blue color. It blends in very nicely with the white background you can see there. And then sea lanterns have the same nice clean look, and their sea lanterns are very nice because you can kind of use them anywhere, and they look just as equally visually pleasing as something like the white dorite and quartz blocks, as they mesh together very well. But you can use some other blocks, as I showed earlier, like iron doors and iron pressure plates, to actually show the bright color and avoid using wood, which generally looks a bit older when you're wanting to actually build something modern in Minecraft or advanced looking in Minecraft. Now, moving to my third reason, this is to use end rods and sea lanterns. This one, once again, does sort of tie into what I've just said, but it's because these colors very much mesh with each other. Now, as you can see here, it doesn't even have to be just end rods and sea lanterns, because you can see here that sea lanterns, while they do blend in very nicely with the white blocks in the background, you can also use things like torches that you can get from the nether using some soul sand or soul soil to actually make some torches that actually have the blue tip rather than the orange. And then moving over here to my actual vault, you can see here that I have actually utilized two of the reasons that I'm listing off here. One being using end rods, and the other actually being using redstone that I'll talk about later in the video. But you can see here as lights, I have actually used end rods to sort of make them look as tube lights that you would commonly see in sort of like a hospital or something like that with the overhead lights. And then I've just put these ones above a layer of normal glass, and I've done 3 rows of these leading into my vault. And then closing this door to go ahead and get into my 4th reason, which is to use iron doors and buttons, and pressure plates at that. Now, I did slightly touch on this one earlier because it is a very good way to blend in the modern and visually pleasing look. Because as you can see here, iron doors on even doorite or quartz at that have a very nice sort of mesh because they are both bright colors. And as you can see here, iron doors are only able to be used with either buttons or pressure plates, as you can see here. Now, I like using pressure plates because while the buttons sadly don't blend in as well with their gray look, you can also use pressure plates, which you can make out of iron, and they will blend in just as much as anything else because they have that same bright sort of generally white color to them. And then this last one is actually not utilizing color, but rather actual how much functionality your things have, because my 5th reason is to use redstone mechanics and build redstone contraptions. Now, while I don't have any redstone contraptions actually built into the exterior of my mountain lab, you can see here that going back, as I go ahead and actually run into the back of my lab here on the 1st floor, you can see that I have a lever that is listed as Redstone Farms Produce. So right above this, on the work floor, right above this, that you can't actually get into unless you blow through the wall, as you can actually hear there is a bunch of pistons going off that is creating produce for me to actually pick up. So here I have sugarcane and bamboo, and then over here I have pumpkin and melon, and I'm doing this all while I don't have to actually do anything, while the redstone farms do it all for me. But redstone is obviously not limited to farms. If I go ahead and run back over here to my actual sort of vault door and go ahead and just quickly mine out this block, you can see that I've actually utilized redstone mechanics a lot here with my 4x4 vault door. Now, I do really like this vault door because when it is closed, or rather when it is actually opened, it actually blends in completely and you can't even tell there's a door here. But when it is closed on the outside, it creates a very cool look with this sort of a strong, bulky, sort of a thick door frame looking thing that looks like you won't actually be able to break through it. But when I open the door, the reason that using redstone mechanics and building redstone contraptions of this very small size, as it might seem, is actually a very, very large thing and requires a lot of room, and you really have to know how to use the mechanics in order to do it, because as you can see here, this redstone contraption goes all over the place, and it's all about timing. When you want to build something big like this that is going to function right, and when you're actually on the outside of the machine, you have to use timing very, very carefully, and you have to do it very, very right to get it to look good, because while timing is very important, if you do it wrong, when I shut the door, you can see that if I open it, none of the pistons actually show. It's just cobblestone. But while on the back, you can see here that there are actually pistons that are holding in this sort of a double piston extender section of the door. While if I actually messed up the timing, and I messed up this first layer of the door and it opened first, you would then actually be able to see these pistons, which I actually don't want. So timing is a very big part of using redstone mechanics, and why it is something that is a lot harder to utilize, rather than something like actually getting the color and all of the nice sort of bright colors to actually mesh in with your builds. But with that, there are my top 5 ways to show modern and advanced designs in your builds, and even how to convert older builds. And with that, if you guys enjoyed today's video,